Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to now 500,000 subscribers. So subscribe, watch, all right, comment, and share with your friends because there's so much chaos going on. Now, of all of the people, believe it or not, all of the people, and that included Matt Gaetz, that Trump nominated for cabinet positions, none possibly more unqualified than RFK Jr. Yesterday, we had a chance to witness RFK at his hearing, his confirmation hearing. And I want to go over what he spoke about. But I also want to draw your attention to this week. His own cousin, Caroline Kennedy, she spoke out about her cousin. She spoke out about RFK, saying that he is completely 100% unqualified for the job. And he then started to speak about changing his mind. I mean, perfect timing, right? He spoke about changing his mind, and what he now believes is that he is now pro-vaccine. And while he was making this statement, a protester interrupted him. Play the clip.
Make sure the committee is clear about a few things. News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
We'll have order. Yeah, I mean, we have to do what we have to do as citizens of this country. You need to call bullshit when somebody's lying and they're just overtly lying to your face. I know he wants to get confirmed. Don't get me wrong. Nobody wants to get booted from the position. But at the same point in time, he's now pro-vaccine after everything. I don't know if you listened to my Mea Culpa podcast. It's the one with the blue background icon. I had RFK on it, and he acknowledges he is an anti-vaxxer. He is not pro-vaccine. Now, he then goes on to say that all of his kids are vaccinated, which is true, by the way. It happens to be true. His kids are vaccinated. Nevertheless, he's an anti-vaxxer. Play the clip.
And I believe that that vaccines play a critical role in healthcare. All of my kids are vaccinated. I've written many books on vaccines. My first book in 2014, the first line of it is, I am not anti-vaccine. And
well, you certainly said something different on my podcast. That I can tell you for certain. Bernie Sanders went, and he then asks RFK, why his own website? Why RFK's own website sells anti-vax merchandise when you're now saying that you are pro-vax, right? It doesn't make any sense. Either you are or you're not. And if you are an anti-vaxxer, own it. But don't sit there and lie. Lie to the members of Congress. Lie to the American people. Play the clip.
I'm running out of time. I think the gist of what you're trying to say today is you're really pro-vaccine, you want to ask questions. You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that.
Yeah. Again, on Monday, he's anti-vax. On Tuesday, he's pro-vax. Understand that the second that, God forbid, this guy gets in, that vaccinations are going to be removed. Now, Elizabeth Warren then turns around and asks RFK about the measles outbreak that's going on in Samoa.
Yet, ultimately, more than 70 people died because they didn't get vaccines. So my question is, do you accept even a scintilla, just even a sliver of responsibility for the drop in vaccinations and the subsequent deaths of more than 70 people? Anything you do differently?
No, absolutely not. After there were two incidents which children died in 2015 and again in 2015, it was from the measles vaccine. That's what the New Zealand General Hospital found. The government of Samoa banned the measles vaccine after the 2018.
Okay, RFK, let me ask you a question in furtherance of Senator Warren's. Are you aware that right now that there's a tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas? TB. The first moment that I got to Otisville, to Federal Correctional Institution Otisville, they give you a vaccination for TB. It's something that is literally non-existent in this country. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's an outbreak and several people have died. Are you going to pull TB vaccinations off the market as well? It's right in front of your nose. He then further goes on to say, he says this about the outbreak. Play this clip.
I went there, nothing to do with vaccines. I went there to introduce a medical informatics system that would digitalize records in Samoa and make health delivery much more efficient. I never gave any public statement about vaccines. You cannot find a single Samoan who will say, I didn't get a vaccine because of Bobby Kennedy. I went in June of 2019. The measles outbreak started in August. Oh, clearly I had nothing to do with the measles. Not only that.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, but you didn't have anything to do with it because you're not the Secretary for the Health and Human Services. But the question becomes, what if you do become? You are an anti-vaxxer. Just own it. Because he gets caught in a lie, a blatant lie, when he's asked about what he had previously said, that pesticides cause children, get a load of this shit, that pesticides cause children to become transgender. Yeah, he said it. Play the clip.
Did you say that exposure to pesticides causes children to become transgender?
No, I never said that. I think a lot of the problems we see in kids, and particularly boys, it's probably underappreciated that how much of that is coming from chemical exposures, including a lot of the sexual dysphoria that we're seeing. They're swimming through a soup of toxic chemicals today, and many of those are endocrine disruptors. There's atrazine throughout our water supply. Atrazine, by the way, if you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will chemically castrate and forcibly feminize every frog in there, and 10% of the frogs, the male frogs, will turn into fully viable females able to produce viable eggs. If it's doing that to frogs, it could. There's a lot of other evidence that it's doing it to human beings as well.
I didn't say it, he did. Then Maggie Hassan asks RFK about him being pro-choice. Wait till you hear this answer. Play the clip.
Now, let's go to something we agree upon. I am really heartened to see that one area where we agree on is on women's reproductive freedom. In your own words, it's not the government's place to tell people what to do with their bodies. You said that, correct? Yep. Mr. Kennedy, in 2023, you came to New Hampshire and said, quote, I'm pro-choice. I don't think the government has any business telling people what they can or cannot do with their body. So you said that, right?
Yes.
Yep. But you also said we need to trust the women to make that choice because I don't trust government to make any choices. You said that too, right?
Yes.
It is remarkable that you have such a long record of fighting for women's reproductive freedom, and really great that my Republican colleagues are so open to voting for a pro-choice HHS secretary. So, Mr.
Yeah. He was hating that question. I could tell you that. Now, RFK was then asked about blaming of school shootings on antidepressants. He's really dangerous. Play this clip.
So let me ask you, in an interview in 2023 and again in 2024, you blamed school shootings on antidepressants. You said, and this is a quote, there is no time in American history or human history that kids were going to shoot schools and shooting their classmates. It really started happening coterminous with the introduction of these drugs, with Prozac and with other drugs. So do you believe, as you've said, that antidepressants cause school shootings? This should be a simple question.
I don't think anybody can answer that question, and I didn't answer that question. I said it should
So your
be
answer
studied.
is,
I said it should be studied along with other potential culprits
so
like
they may cause
social media. But I don't know. I would never make, because there's no science on that,
Well,
Senator.
there is, Senator, there is, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you for the promotion.
The science shows that there is no link between school shootings and antidepressants. And in fact, most school shooters were not even treated with antidepressants. And of those that were, there was no evidence of association. You know,
I don't think you
My
can
question
say that, Senator, because of HIPAA rules, nobody knows.
well, that is, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah. It's just not accurate. All right. Raphael Warnock then goes on to ask him about his previous comments that the CDC, Center for Disease Control's work is comparable to Nazi death camps. No. Really, this is what our hearings have devolved into. Play the clip.
Mr. Kennedy, you have compared the CDC's work to Nazi death camps. You've compared it to sexual abusers in the Catholic Church. You've also said that many of them belong, this is a direct quote, many of them belong in jail. For me, those are disturbing characterizations of the CDC workers that I know who are trying to keep the American public safe every single day. And as you are presented as the nominee for this position, I need to know, do you stand by those statements that you made in the past, or do you retract those previous statements?
Senator, I don't believe that I ever compared the CDC to Nazi death camps. I support the CDC. My job is not to dismantle or harm the CDC. My job is to empower the scientists if I'm privileged to be confirmed.
So you retract those statements?
I'm not retracting it. I never said it.
Well, actually, I have a transcript
Of me saying that it's a Nazi death camp?
Let me read your words. It says that the institution CDC and the vaccine program, is your description of their work, is more important than the children that it's supposed to protect. And you know, it's the same reason we had a pedophile scandal in the Catholic Church. It's because people were able to convince themselves that the institution of the church was more important than these little boys and girls who were being raped. That's pretty provocative language. You said in another statement to me, this is like Nazi death camp. I mean, let me finish. I'm just reading your words. I mean, what happened to these kids? 1 in 31 boys in this country, their minds are being robbed from them.
Yeah, I was not comparing the CDC to Nazi death camps. I was comparing the injury rate to our children to other atrocities.
Okay. If that's really what you meant, sure. Now, lastly, I want to end this episode with a clip of RFK talking about President Trump's favorite flight food, McDonald's. Play the clip.
Make sure that Americans are aware of it. I don't want to take food away from anybody. If you like a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger, a Diet Coke, which my boss loves, and you should be able to get them. If you want to eat Hostess Twinkies, you should be able to do that. But you should know what the impacts are on your family and on your health.
Okay, I'm with that. I'm absolutely with that. In fact, you've heard me say many times, it's not that I disagree with everything that RFK stands for. I disagree with him on his positions on vaccines, and it's why I don't think he's competent or qualified. But yeah, I believe that everybody should know exactly what it is that you're eating. I believe that the processed foods are horrible for us, and I believe that everything has just too much sugar. It's why diabetes in this country is skyrocketing. But I'm not so sure that I'm willing to sacrifice not knowing what's in McDonald's for having somebody like RFK running HHS and the chaos that's going to come from somebody like him. So please remember, subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because the chaos isn't going away. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.